Hey guys, welcome back. So, let's look at the next two entries in the Brave series. That bring Brave Command Dagwon and the King of Braves, GaoGaiGar. But let's talk about Dagwon because of how it's, well, the most divergent series. So you see, the company that animated these, anime series to tie with the toy line, Sunrise, a Japanese animation company known as Sunrise, made a little show known as Samurai Troopers, or when it was brought over to the U.S. during the anime is for kids thing that, as we all know, it really isn't. Well, some animes anyway. Damn you for kids. You may have gotten away with Yu-Gi-Oh, but not One Piece! I will never forget! Anyway, they made a show that was, again, Samurai Troopers, they made a show that was brought over and aired on Fox Kids, known as Ronin Warriors, which was a pretty boy anime, which, if I had to guess, is for girls what is for boys what Magical Girl anime is for girls. And weirdos. And female weirdos. I'm getting off topic. The point is, they wanted to try that again with the Dagwon line. So, what was the overall plot? Well, a man known as the Brave Saging, who was part of the Brave Police, a group of aliens dedicated to protecting the universe. However, a group of criminals took over a space prison and headed for Earth to conquer it. So the Brave Saging is the Japanese word for alien, chose 5 humans to defend them, copying Earth's technology and giving them transformation bracelets that allowed them to fuse with their vehicles and as a series and fight these aliens, forming the special ops team Brave Command Dagwon. Now, each member of Dagwon has what I like to call the tri-brace, and by pulling it down and saying the command phrase, Try Dagwon, they would appear in armor. However, instead of the fusions just happening willy-nilly, the team actually has to unlock it in other combinations. But let's start with our main character, Andonji, who is the fire warrior, and is the typical, coming from Wikipedia here, is the stereotypical hot-headed, juvenile delinquent-like and demeanor type. Reckless, short-tempered, and stubborn to a fault, but also brave, fearless, and a loyal friend. Now, he's what you consider the leader of the Dagwon team. Well, I would anyway. I'm not sure if anybody else who likes the show agrees with me. However, in his Tri-Dagwon form, they keep it a secret to protect others, obviously, because I don't even think the aliens know who they are, which is a good thing. And becomes, well, Fire N. His main vehicle is the Fire Stratos. Now, every time they fuse with their, standard vehicle, it's known as GaoGaiGar, or Fusion Combination, which is a bit derivative, but what you gonna do? Now, and supporting vehicle is Fire Jumbo, which, like the name suggests, is based on a jumbo jet. He also has two support vehicles, that being Fire Ladder, which is based on the Japanese fire truck, and Fire Rescue, which is based on a Japanese ambulance. Now, each member of the Dagwon team has their own combination phrase. His being for forming his first main mech form being Kind Gut type, or Blazing Combination. So Fire Jumbo will form the main body, Fire Ladder will form the left arm and hand, or just the left hand, while Fire Rescue forms the right arm and hand, and Dag Fire will sort of connect inside the chest, forming the first Dagwon combination, Fire Dagwon. Now, his finisher is known as Fire Sword, where a blade will extend from fire ladder's ladder. Now, originally, Fire Jumbo was eventually sacrificed in order to stop an alien plot that would have destroyed the Earth, leaving Dak Fire and Fire N at a severe disadvantage. However, another member of the... Oh, wait, I forgot. Dagwon's actually the name of the police force. They're just a special ops unit. Eventually, using an emergency, procedure that needs to be technically approved first, but again, emergency because of an alien threat, she transformed a power shovel into a new support vehicle for Dak Fire. This being appropriately titled the Fire Shovel, which using Gorikigatai or Herculean strength combination could become which allowed him to transform into Power Dagwon. Later, Fire Jumbo was eventually rebuilt and sent back to help the Dagwon team. Now, by using energy from the base known as Dag Base, Fire Jumbo and Fire Shovel could combine into Super Fire Dagwon, with Shovel Dagwon separating, connecting to the back, forming new wing boosters. His arms for his Robo-Mo connecting to the arm placements for Fire Shovel and Fire. And Fire. In place of Fire Ladder and Fire Rescue. And a new chest plate and parts of his robot head connected head for Fire Dagwon. Now his finisher is some Blazing Phoenix from that new chest part. However, and this combination is known as the Cho-Kai Gatai, or Super Blazing Combination. However, there is a downside. Initially, this put a major strain on N's body because his body wasn't used to such a strong combination. And this is actually kind of fair. Why? Well, we'll get into that when we go over the next team. That what I've been called the Liner team. But next we need to look at Kai Hoshi, who, if you guys have read DC Comics, Kai is the Superman to N's Batman. Except less hot-headed. Except more hot-headed. Not Kai N. Because as we all know, Batman is the world's greatest detective. Now, here's what you consider the true leader of the Dagwon team. And his Dagwon identity is known as Turbo Kai. Now, his vehicle is that of Turbo Liner. Now, the Liner team's uniqueness is that each of their liners in the back portion have different, I say batteries or something, but that's not right. However, they do represent their transformed states. And Kai in this form is known as the Speed Warrior. By fusing with Turbo Liner, he forms Dag Turbo. Next is Shima Shurama, also known as the Weapons Warrior. Now, Shin is a luckless flirt who likes girls. I'm not going into any more than that. And his transformed form is known as Armor Shin. Now he's part of the Liner team, and his liner is known as Armor Liner. By using fusion combination, he becomes Dag Armor. Next is Yoku. I can't read his last name. Let's just call him Yoku. He is known as the Sky Warrior, and as being part of a Pretty Boy team, is the team's resident tech head. Is the team's resident tech expert. Now, his liner is known as wing liner, and the only Dagwon, and when he does his Dagwon identity is known as wing yoke. By using fusion combination, he can fuse with wing liner, becoming Dagwing. Now, the combined form known as Juran Gutai or coupling fusion, they can form liner Dagwon, with Kai's liner forming the main torso, Shin and Yoke's liner bodies forming the entire lower half. Their front part of their train forms connecting to form the shoulders. The back portions of Kai and Shin's liner. Also, side note, unlike Kai, the back ends of the liner forms for Yoke and Shin actually connect to their backs, forming the arms and hands, while Yoke's connects to the back, forming a pair of wings. They were later be joined by Geki Kyora, who is known as the Sixth Warrior. Now, he too was part of the liner team, but once again, because of new mechs, to distinguish himself from the others, his was based on that of a steam engine. He is known as the Ground Warrior, and his identity is known as Drill Geki. His fusion combination form, combined with Drill Liner, is known as Dag Drill. Now their combined form, known as Shojunin Gatai or Super Coupling Fusion, forms Liner Dagwon, with parts of Shin forming new chest armor, another part forming feet extensions, and the rest of his steam engine connects to form a drill-like blaster. Next is Ryu Hasaburi, the Shadow Warrior. As he's the one who has the team's support mech. These being known as the Animal Guardians. That being Guard Hawk, Guard Wolf, and Guard Tiger, who all have separate robot modes. And they're pretty much Shin's subordinates. What? I'm worried on that. But I made a promise to you guys. I'm finishing this. Anyway, where was I? Ah, yes. Ryu. And as a result, his vehicle is a jet. His Dagwon identity is Shadow Ryu. And by forming Yugo Gutai, or again, fusion combination, he becomes Dag Shadow. He also has a special Shadow Dragon mode. By using Kiju Gutai, or Machine Beast combination, and combining with the Guardian Beast, being Guard Tiger, Guard Hawk, and Guard Wolf, they can, with the cannons for Guard Wolf and Guard Tiger forming the feet, Guard Wolf and Guard Tiger themselves forming the shoulders, arms, and hands, and Guard Hawk forming the back and the new head segment, while Dag Shadow forms the rest of the body. They form into Shadow Dagwon. And part of the course for ninjas, he has his own sword. Next is Rai Utsumi. Now, he is known as the Thunder Warrior and the only member of the Dagwon team that didn't originate from Earth. Now, he has his own his identity is known as Thunder Rai. His main vehicle is that of a motorcycle, and when performing fusion combination, he becomes Dag Thunder by calling on his support vehicle, the Thunder Shuttle, and combining with it, forming a back portion. He becomes Thunder Dagwon. Now let's go into the allies, because there are 2 mechas I want to get into. Interesting. They're not here. How? Oh, but in any case, we need to look at Line, or whatever. He's actually an alien whose vehicle mode is that of a sword. And it's usually wielded by Fire Dagwon, in place of his fire blade that is a lot more powerful. As a result, it's a 2-handed wield sword, because when you're wielding a giant alien sword, 2 hands is really the way to go. Next is Gunkid, who who had a vehicle form known as the Galaxy Cannon. He originally didn't know from wrong, but after Lane taking him under his wing, he eventually learned and joined the Dagwon team. He did see action, but was mainly used for his Galaxy Cannon form. Now both Fire Dagwon and Power Dagwon could use these in different ways. For Fire Dagwon, Gunkid provided him with a connector point that connected to his hips. And the Galaxy Cannon was, so powerful that every time it fired, it pushed Fire Dagwon back. However, when Power Dagwon came around, things changed. He had his own connector piece that connected to his right that put Gunkid in Galaxy Cannon mode on his right shoulder. And he could use his shovel arm, yes, seriously, for more stabilization power, making it easier to control. But enough about Dagwon. Let's move into the final Brave series, and one of my personal favorites, the King of Braves, GaoGaiGar. Now, what's the main plot of GaoGaiGar? Well, it focuses on 2 characters, Guy and a kid named Mamoru. Mamoru is from an alien planet. Guy was originally who was adopted by people when his guardian, Gao, who helps form the titular main mech of the series, delivered him while the 2 were driving home one night. Where they were, I will never know. But he went to save Guy and stop the main antagonist of the first half of the season. Those being the Zonedarians. However, they eventually landed on Earth, and as a result, were playing for years. However, Guy's father, that's spelled G-A-I in some cases, or simply spelled Guy the regular way, using the technology from Gao Leon, was able to rebuild him. And they eventually started to learn the secrets of the G-Stone, which would become the power source for our series' main robots. But let's get into Guy himself, who is a cyborg. Now, being a cyborg, he, has a lot of machines. He also has a special device called the Gao Bridge, which can produce the Gao signal, which sends a special which, aside from, obviously, not being a ripoff from the bat signal, obviously. Godspeed, Batman. GaoGaiGar. Godspeed. The light actually produces a special signal that Gao Leon can track and hone in on Guy's location. It also contains Guy's main weapon, the Will Knife, which we later learn that if the Will Knife is ever lost, similar to how Gao Leon can use it to trace Guy by calling out its name, can pinpoint its exact location. This was very crucial in the first half of the main series. It was very crucial in the first half of the series. Now, Guy can perform fusion with Gao Leon, forming GaoGaiGar, which Guy is able to control. And once again, by studying him, they were able to build the Gao machines, which involves Stealth Gao, which is a stealth fighter that can connect to GaiGar, forming Stealth GaiGar, allowing for better flight control, because he does have boosters on the side of his legs, but they don't allow him to they don't give him that much flying capabilities except for high jumps. Liner Gao, which is obviously based on a bullet train, and Drill Gao, which is based on a drill tank, which can connect to GaoGaiGar's arms to form GaoGaiGar. Later we learned that it is possible to connect both GaoGaiGar to form GaoGaiGar. However, these two will contradict each other. Lesser speed control, but more power. More power, but lesser speed. It's two sides of the same coin, really. But anyway, let's get into the titular mech. Guy, by requesting his allies from the 3G organization that was formed after Gao landed on Earth, by requesting final fusion, and his girlfriend slash Mikoto, whose name is Mikoto, she becomes important later, trust me, was able to which was who sends the program to GaoGaiGar and the Gao machines. Drill Gao, being a drill tank, well, two drills stick together to form a drill tank, form the leg armor. Liner GaoGaiGar's, well, first, his hips turn around backwards, so 90 degrees, and the back portion actually becomes a skirt. Once again, and again, drill Gao and all that. Liner with GaoGaiGar's arms folding backwards, drill Gao forms the new shoulders, and that's pretty much it. Still, Gao connects to the back, with his engines forming the arms and hands. He also contains the helmet. Now, what GaoGaiGar lacks in speed, the speed of GaoGaiGar, he makes up for it being awesome. Also, more power and endurance. Now, both his hands actually have a purpose. His left hand has 4 dots, which allow him to use the Protect Shade, which is a barrier that, while it also protects him from physical damage, can also redirect energy attacks in the form of stars that take the shape of a star and reflect it back at his enemy. Next is the Broken Magnum, which is used with his right arm. By spinning his fist one way and his forearm the other way, the friction causes the arm to turn red, and he can launch it at his opponent. Sorry, I thought I heard something. Now, Guy's main finisher originally was Hell and Heaven. By combining both his destructive and creative powers into one blow, he could rip out the control control cockpit for his enemy's opponent, and the body would explode after falling down. However, this put a considerable strain on Guy. As a result, it made him, every time he went to battle, there was a risk that he would never come out. This originally wasn't a problem, but after using Hell and Heaven in such using Hell and Heaven over and over and over again, it eventually took its toll on Guy's body. But they found a workaround, which I'll get into when we get into the other mechs. Now, Guy has a whole slew of support weapons. The first one being that of the Divine Driver, which connects to his left arm. What? Because 3G thought ahead. By bending space around a certain area, they could create the Divine Field, which was a massive crater, which, if GaoGaiGar was ever in a populated area, he could create this safe space to do battle with, to disarm, to reduce damage from, well, his enemies. Now, the Divine Field only lasts for a certain amount of time. I am now reminded of another ability that I should have gone over. When Guy goes into battle, he shouts, "Equip," gain a golden helmet and long tube-like hair. By pulling those tubes and shouting out, "Hypermodo!" Guy turns gold, which increases his cyborg abilities to the maximum level, also allowing him to fly. However, this puts a considerable strain on Guy's cyborg body, so he can only use it for 3 minutes at a time. Now, back to GaoGaiGar. In the second half of the series, when it involves space battles, Stealth Gao was upgraded to Stealth Gao 2, gained a new long tail and boosters. Now, these boosters actually held 2 very important items, those being the wall and phantom rings. But by using his broken magnum in conjunction with the phantom ring, Guy could use the broken phantom. The phantom ring allowed him to bypass his enemy. If the enemy had a barrier system, allowed him to bypass it, while the broken magnum portion was able to penetrate the body. Now, by using the wall ring, Guy could use in conjunction with the protect shade, Guy could use the protect wall, which, like the name suggests, is a more powerful version of the protect shade. And he was also named Star GaoGaiGar. Yes, seriously. Also, Stealth Gao in the Star, connected with the boosters and that new tail I mentioned, could become Stealth Gao 2. But let's get into the first mechs of the mechs for the first half of the series. First being Horyu and Enryu, twin brothers, with Horyu meaning Ice Dragon and Enryu meaning Fire Dragon. Now, each have similar vehicle modes, but are a bit different. If you guys remember my GaoGaiGar lookover, Horyu's vehicle mode is similar to McCrane's, except being blue, while Enryu's is a fire truck. Now being based on element dragons, each has their own different weapons. But these guys are primarily used for defense and rescue work. Horyu has the freezing rifle and gun, while Enryu has the melting rifle and gun. He also carries the mirror shield, which, similar to the protect shade, can reflect blasts. Now, their combined form, to combine, they use a technique. They use a combination called symmetrical docking, or as it's known in Japanese, symmetrical docking. Yes, seriously. With Horyu forming the right half of their combined body, while Enryu forms the left. A piece from Horyu's, I don't know where he keeps this, forms the head of this combination, while Enryu's mirror shield forms the chest. Also, their freezing and melting guns connect to form the arms. Their melting and freezing rifles connect to the sides, which we later learned that when the two are separated or in their combined form, they can use as tonfas. I love robot weapons. And their combined form is known as the Super Dragon God, or because I want to say it like this, Choryujin! I never get to say it like that. Don't judge me. Now, why is Choryujin so useful? Aside from his overwhelming power, well, that power comes with a reason, my friends. Yes, I said it like that. Because Choryujin is the only one with enough power to use the Eraser Head. The Eraser Head has the ability to disperse energy and send it up into space where it could disperse more easily. This becomes very important when our main villains, known as Zondarians, create their mechas known as Zonders. Zonders that on contact blow up for maximum surrounding damage. Yes, seriously. Next is Wolfok, who is assigned as the so-called guardian of Mamoru. Now, he was made in conjunction with 3G and the Defense Agency and the Central Intelligence Agency. I assume the Japan division or the Japanese version of the Central Intelligence Agency. I don't know. All I know is it is not the CIA here in the States. Now, his vehicle form is that of a police car, and he has many stealth capabilities, making the equivalent of a ninja. He also has 2 support vehicles, Gunglue and Gundober. Gundober is a motorcycle that can be seen primarily ridden by Guy. It also has a flight. Its wheels can also become a gyro mode. Its robot mode, while it does have a GS ride, or the G-Stone ride, which which are the generators that power our heroes and prevent their machine bodies from being taken control of. Well, Gungaloo and Gundober do have that. They don't have the same intelligence. But I'm getting ahead of myself. His robot mode is based on that of a panther. Gungaloo is a helicopter that is based on an eagle because flight. Their combined form is known as Big Volfog, with the back of Volfog's police car mode forming the legs, forming the entire lower half, while the front portion spins around to form the front half and head. Gundober forming the right arm, the left shoulder, arm, and hand, while Gungaloo forms the right shoulder, arm, and hand. Yes, I got that right. Now, being based on Ninja, he has a lot of different abilities. He also has the ability known as Melting Siren, which we later learned was based on a roar that GaoGaiGar produces that, in both cases, can disable barriers. He also has the Marasame Sword, by using the propeller blades from Gungaloo's vehicle mode, he can use Energy Slash. He also has the ability to use Mirror Coating, which can protect him from a certain amount of damage. This is very useful in the Dai-10 Magnum, or the Spinning Death Wheel, which he forms a mirror-coated cyclone which launches thousands of spikes. He also uses Art of the Body Split, which allow him, Gungaloo, and Gundober to attack simultaneously at rapid speeds. Also, I should have gone over Volfog's main weapons. I'm sorry, I should have. I feel ashamed. But that's besides the point. But in any case, they are known as the Silver Moons, which are two boomerang-like blades, which can be combined to form a giant shuriken known as the Silver Cross. Next, we get into GaoGaiGar. Now, GaoGaiGar is a bit different. It's a bit different because the super AIs for the first mechs I mentioned, for our first three mechas, Gundober and Gungaloo excluded, their AI systems took some months to make, and being in the middle of a war with galactic aliens hell-bent on taking over the planet, one does not have time for months, especially since this weapon was supposed to help GaoGaiGar supplement Hell and Heaven, this being known as the Mega G tool, the Goldion Hammer. However, in Guy's current condition, the Goldion Hammer was even more deadly than Hell and Heaven itself. However, by using a plan involving the Pliers, which were a team of megas similar to Gungaloo and Gundober, while they did have some AI intelligence, it wasn't that much, which formed the Dimension Pliers, who could repair warp space. By using them in tandem with the Goldion Hammer, it reduces Guy's risk of reduced the risk of the Goldion Hammer, extremely damaging Guy's robot cyborg body. However, that was changed with the introduce of GaoGaiGar, whose AI was a personality was based on and somewhat copied off of, especially the voice, was that of Geki Hyoma, a supporting character in the series who was the field sergeant, Guy being the captain, and as we all know from military rank, sergeant outranks captain. At least I know it does. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Point is, GaoGaiGar, because he was made to contain the power of the Goldion Hammer, is extremely strong. His vehicle mode is that of Goldie Tank. In his second episode after his debut, with which a Zondarian took control of a bomber plane, he drove over the bomb and there was no scratch. I am dead serious here. But his main purpose is the Golden Hammer. Now, similar to Final Fusion, Guy needs to get approval from the chief, from the chief and leader of the 3G unit, who is a manly man of madness that is a man of madness man. Yes, and I love him. Not in a gay way, but still, I love him as a character. If he was in a Kamen Rider series, if he was in Super Sentai or Kamen Rider, I would have watched him till the cows came home. But that's besides the point. Now, where was it? Oh, right, Golden Hammer. Now, both he and Mikoto need to release the safety device that allows for the transformation. With Goldie Mark's main body transforming into the mag hand, connecting to the right hand that, well, if you guys remember me going over GaoGaiGar, because this video is extremely long, deal with it, is where he keeps the right hand for the broken magnum. This allows Guy to say, and this is where the pliers things come in, because I imagine they were inspired by the method they used because it reduced the risk to Guy. And Guy would turn gold with awesomeness! But that's besides the point. Sorry. Oh yes. Guy could use 3 techniques. First was Hammer Hell. Now he could pull up to 2 energy nails from the wheels of his mag hand, because remember, Goldie Mark's main body, who is lovingly nicknamed Goldie. Yes, seriously. But in any case, by using this in conjunction with, well, the hammer itself, he could input the nails to pull out an enemy's core or control area. He could then use the Hammer Heaven, which used devices similar to, if you guys have ever seen the back of a hammer, sort of think those. You know, that part of the hammer that can be used to pull nails out. It's like that, except more fork-like. Anyway, after pulling the core out, Guy shouts, "Hikari Miname!" or transform into light! And smashes the enemy. Instead of a big boom explosion, it turns them into light particles, sending them up to heaven. Or space, whatever works. Anyway, this became Guy's signature weapon, with Hell in Heaven being used as, well, a main backup. Next, we get into Mike Saunders. Mike Saunders, who was developed in America by Guy's uncle. Now, Mike originally has a childlike intelligence, and he has a Cosmo robot mode. He also has a vehicle known as Barry Barine, which is very large and can be used to transport people. However, his true mode is his Boom Robot mode. And Barry Barine flips over, becoming Studio 7, which, if you guys have ever seen Back to the Future, or have heard of it, or have ever seen references, think the hoverboard. Anyway, this contains a multitude of, being based on music, contains a multitude of music discs and weapon, each with a unique effect. The first one being Disc M, which allows Mike to remove any harmful objects for those within its range. He also has the Razzlin' Dazzlin' Double B, which is a keyboard combined with a guitar. Yeehaw! Now, by switching out with Disc Power, Guy can recharge his allies in battle. He also gets the Thunder & V, a microphone. And we later learned that he can keep 2 in his Boom Robot's kneecaps. Yes, Boom Robot mode's kneecaps. Yes? Seriously. Now, there was originally a lock on Mike's programming. However, we later learned that another supporting character's brother, whose name is Swan, and keeping with that name, her older brother's name is Stallion. Yes, seriously. Similar to how Goldie Mark AI was based on Huma's, Mike's AI was based on was based on stallions. So, because of brotherly instincts, whenever Swan was in danger, Mike could temporarily circumvent the system change, the program block that was placed on his system change, systems, and could transform into his true form. However, near the end of the first half of the series, Stallion and Guy's uncle came back and released the program fully, allowing Mike to system change to his heart's desire. Or in this case, his AI's desire. Now Mike's main purpose is in Disc X, whose main purpose is to destroy Zonder metal. Going a little off topic here and going into Zonders, which I think I may cover in another video as an add-on to this. The Zonders use Zonder metal, which is similar to that of the G-Stone, but it transforms people, but amplifies dark emotions, stress, strife, all that stuff, and turns them and allows them to combine with other vehicles, turning them into monsters. However, Disc X was created as a way to destroy all Zonder metal within the vicinity of the sound waves Mike produced, and was able to end the threat of the Zonder metals once and for all. Now, being part of a big organization, they have support vehicles, where they station out is known as the Bay Tower Base, which is located on G Island, a man-made island in the heart of Tokyo Bay. Yes. And also, in a nice bit of touch, I wonder, how do these people keep getting away with it? We learned that they actually have jobs to cover up for their real job. Now, again, each have, unique, support vehicles. One vehicle works basically like a mobile laboratory, another to deploy weapons, and one that is used as a laboratory. Yes, seriously. But their most dangerous one is Projectile X. This was eventually used in the final battle with the leader of Zondarians, Pastor, or EI-01. Yes, they named all of their enemies EI, which stands for I don't know how to pronounce it. Dang it. But anyway, aside from Mike, this amplified GaoGaiGar's, Big Volfox, Choryujin's, and Goldimark's G-Stone powers levels to the extreme, giving them a green coloring. However, as a result, the power canceled out with that of the Zondarian power, and they technically did die. However, Mummery's powers eventually brought them back to life. However, we learned of a new threat, that being the 31 primevals. 31 machine primevals, who each take the form of a different body part. I'll explain why in a little bit. However, the 3G Bay Tower Base was eventually destroyed, and Guy, who was able to launch GaoGaiGar before it was destroyed, thought everyone was dead. However, they're alive! And a new base, that being the 3G Orbit Base. Which prompted the name change from Gutsy GeoGuard to the Gutsy Galaxy Guard. And no need to keep the secret idea anymore, because as we later learned, they actually all live up there. Nice. I suppose rent is cheap when you're trying to save the... Well, I suppose free rent is good when you're trying to save the world on a regular... When you're trying to protect the world on a regular basis. But in any case, a Machine King named Pizza, yes, seriously, was turned into his original form by Mamoru's classmate, known as Kaido, whose like Mamoru was sent to Earth. However, the difference is that Kaido retained his real memories while Mamoru's was sealed away. This is because of two necklaces that the two were sent with. You see, in Mamoru's home galaxy, the TriStar system, of the red planet, not Mars, the G-Stone was reversed into the J Jewel. And as such, they created an army known as Stellato Js, and battle vehicles known as the J-Arcs. But in any case, where was I going with this? Oh yeah. Kaido, similar to Mamoru, was found by a caring mother and raised as a semi-normal boy. What does this have to do? Well, Arma and Jay resumed their original mission, that being the J-Arc. Similar to Guy and Galeon, Jay can form Mega Fusion with a control center for the J-Arc, that being J-Bird. Now, similar to Final Fusion, he has his own form of it, this being appropriately called Mega Fusion, where the J-Arc's main body, being called the J-Carrier, forms the torso and entire lower half. The leg portions of J-Dar form the arms and hands, while its body portion forms the head. Its finisher, its fused form is known as King J-Da! And he also has a weapon called the J-Quoth, which can be used similar to a bow and arrow weapon. Now, originally, unlike the Zonders, these cores did not possess humans, but puzzle pieces. Mamoru could not originally sense these primitives, but Kaido could. However, after getting his necklace back, Mamoru was once again able to sense these primitives, and as a result was able to purify them. But while Jay did admit that working together with the two was helpful, with King Jader was helpful, it contracted with their mission. But we have new mechs to supplement this thing. That being Furyu and Ryu, which as we learned before the second half of the series, 3G extended its technology to that of the rest of the world. And these are actually Chinese versions of Horyu and Enryu, not knockoffs. Original designs, well, sort of. The vehicle modes and robo modes share similarities. But in this case, they're still trucks, but Furyu is based on a cement truck and Ryu is based on a dump truck. Now, Furyu means Wind Dragon God, and as a result, he has a lot of wind-based abilities. Ryu means Lightning Dragon God, and has a lot of lightning-based abilities, his main ability being known as Lei, which is the Chinese word for lightning, which can be used as both an offensive and defensive technique. He also has his own version of the melting and freezing guns, sort of, but I'm not getting into that. His dump truck, actually works like a hoverboard, also containing the chest plate for the combined form. Now, these guys are more battle-oriented, and their combined form is the attacking Dragon God, or, as I can never resist this, Geki Ryujin! Now, his main finisher is the Zhang Tolong, which he uses both wind and lightning energy in a combination attack that takes the form of two green and yellow energy dragons. Later, after Choryujin disappeared and later came back, due to a mysterious power that was later dubbed the Power, riveting name there, they were able to form two new combinations. First is the striking dragon god known as Genryujin, which is the combination of Furyu and Enryu, and the phantom dragon god Genryujin, which is the combined form of Horyu and Ryu. Also, this confirms where the heads are kept in the TV show. For Goryujin, he has Geki Ryujin's head with Choryujin's chest plate. But for Genryujin, he has Choryujin's head with Geki Ryujin's chest plate. Yes, seriously. But we still need to go. But I was originally just going to end it here. I think I may. But later in the final battle, we learned that something happened to Mikoto. You see, a lot of lives were lost when EI-01 originally crashed. And after the defeat of the 31 primevals, we later learned that Mikoto was implanted with a seed. A seed that, over time, eventually transformed her body into a new machine species, or as it was called, Zonda. And as a result, Mikoto turned into a new type of Zonda or Zondarian, which was later denied because with the defeat of the true form of the 31 primevals known as the Z-Master, no Zonda metals could remain. Or Zondarians, all would have been turned to dust no matter where they were in the universe. But that wasn't the frightening part. Mikado had the ability to drain energy from technology. And when she acquired her robot mode using half of the 3G support vehicles, which ironically were all named after space gods from Japanese folklore, she eventually began to fill out the original plans for the Zondarians. The entire mechanization of Earth and the galaxy at large. And also, because of her ability to drain technology, I don't know how this worked, but best guess is that she drained the Gao machine's energy to function. And as a result, they weren't able to form GaoGaiGar. However, by placing Horyu and Ryu, Full-Flock, Furyu, and Ryu in the Gao machine, super AIs in the Gao machines, they were able to form Star GaoGaiGar. However, even Goldie came along. However, even the Goldian hammer wasn't enough. She started to mechanize, and even GaoGaiGar, whose G-Stone Ride protected him from being absorbed by Zondarians, and all the 3-1 machine primevals, couldn't stop the mechanization. This was a frightening thought when you tried to use the Broken Phantom, and the Phantom Ring was absorbed. It got so bad that even Goldie had to sacrifice his life just to stop GaoGaiGar from being mechanized. And they were only left with one option: Hell and Heaven. Now I know what you're asking. Couldn't that kill Guy, you say? Couldn't that kill Guy, you ask? Well, here's where I have to disagree. Though Guy was weak from the whole, surprising Mikoto turning into a new Zonder thing, Guy didn't use Hell and Heaven until after Goldie came along. So my personal theory is that Guy's cyborg body eventually was able to build enough stamina to withstand Hell and Heaven. At least that's how I look at it anyway. But however, even Hell and Heaven was useless. And the only thing preventing GaoGaiGar's mechanization was Mamoru, standing between him and the Zonda. But however, Mamoru was killed. And Guy, being a hero, sent him into a rage. A rage that reminds me of the OVAs that we'll look over after this. And as Guy continued to fight, the super AIs of the others faded. Until Guy, finally, with all the strength he had left, was finally able to rip out the core. But luckily, we do get a happy ending. Guy, using Mamoru's purification technique, purified Mikoto, and Guy was turned back to human, but Mamoru being alive. 3G later came with the Carpenters, which were mass-produced pliers that were made to repair damage, that were made to repair massive amounts of damage. Mamoru later decided to head to the TriStar system in order to find a way to restore it. Gao Leon accompanied him for the journey. Guy showing a new power with the G-Stone being absorbed into his body. Being able to access it and glow the same color that Mamoru did when he accesses his powers. Turning Guy into, well, something we'll get into next time. What do I mean by that? Well, to the next time when we go over the last entry of the Brave series to ever be shown on TV. GaoGaiGar Final. Until then,